Temurah Daf Gimel. A guy who brings a carbon to the Beis Hamikdash, you shouldn't benefit from his carbon midrabanan, but midiraisa, if you do, you're not over on me'ilah. That is, you don't have to bring a carbon, you don't have to bring chomesh, and there's no pigul, noiser, and tame. Meaning, if during one of the four avodas the kohen had a thought that he's going to eat it outside of its allotted time, and you go ahead and you eat it, you're not chayav kares. If you are tame and you eat the guy's carbon, you're not chayav. And if the allotted time went by and you ate it afterwards, you're not chayiv on noisar. How do we know all this? Because it says 4 times, it says the word Bnei Yisrael. It says Bnei Yisrael by Truma. And we learn, as you see on the bottom of the chart, and you learn Mi'ilah from Truma, B'gzer Shava, Chet Chet. It says Bnei Yisrael by Tuma. Once I know that the concept of Tuma, you're not allowed to eat a carbon when your tummy is only by Bnei Yisrael and not by a guy, then I can learn Noisar from Tuma, because I have Gzer Shava Chilul Chilul. And once I know that concept by Noisar, then I could apply that concept to Pigul as well, because I have a Gzer Shava Avain that only a Jew and not a guy. Temurah, that's our Masechta Temurah, to say that this carbon that I designated, its Kedusha should be chal on another carbon, on another animal, that doesn't apply to a guy. How do I know? One pshat in the Gemara is because it says by Temurah also Bnei Yisrael. The other pshat is, well, it says Bnei Yisrael 9 psukim earlier. Maybe I need something stronger. So the Gemara says another pshat. As you see in the chart, we know that a goy is not in the parish of Meiser Dagon, meaning fruit. Goy cannot give Meiser. Once I know that, then I know also that a goy is not in the parish of Meiser Behema because it says Aser Taser. And once I know that there's no Meiser by Meiser Behema for a guy, then I also know that there's no Temurah by a guy because the psukim are right next to each other. Pasuk Lamed Beis and Pasuk Lamed Gimel. The first one is talking about Meiser. The second one talks about Temurah. The Mishnah says that if somebody does do Temurah, he's chayiv malchus. The question is why? He didn't take any action. How do you do Temurah? You say this animal should be instead of this animal. That's only with your mouth. And we have a concept that it has to be a lav sheyesh bei maisa in order to be chayiv malchus. So one pshat in the Gemara is that it goes according to Rabbi Yehuda that says you don't have to have action, you don't have to take action in order to be chayiv malchus. You chayiv even lav sheyesh bei maisa. Although that's problematic because yesterday we said that our Mishnah goes according to Rabbi Meir and not Rabbi Yehuda, and all of a sudden now we're saying that it goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. So we'll say in one thing it goes like Rabbi Yehuda, and the other thing it doesn't. Another pshat Rabbi Yochanan says is that yes, you're right, he took action with his mouth, and that's not considered action, but he created a difference. He created an animal that's Temurah, so he changed the animal status. That's considered lav sheyesh b'maisa. The lav sheyesh b'maisa that we typically talk about is, let's say, cursing somebody, where you didn't change anything. According to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, you do get malchus in 2 other cases. You get malchus for Temurah, that's case number 1, but there's 2 other ones. If somebody swears lashav means any shvua that people know that he's swearing falsely. For instance, Rashi says, you say on this beam, you see this beam made out of stone, it's gold. So that's a shvua shav. He's talking shtus. He has to get malchus for that. And if you curse your friend with Hashem's name, that is a lav she'ein b'maisa, which you do get malchus according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili. How do we know that nishbal hashav you get malchus? Because it says in the pasuk Kli Yinaka Hashem. Hashem won't clean you for that avera. You won't get a kapara for that, but you could be medayik. Bezdin will help you out, and they will give you a kapara by giving you malchus. Nishbal Sheker, how do you know that Nishbal Sheker you get malchus? Because in the parsha, the pasuk of Shva Shav, it says the word Shav twice, and one is completely extra. And if you don't have anything to do with it in the parsha of Shav, let's use it for the other parsha of Sheker. But just like Shav is always in the past, this beam which was in the past was made out of stone. You said it's made out of gold, so Shva Sheker also is in the past. Now let's jump for a second to the chart. As you see in the chart, Shva Shav. If somebody takes a shvua shav, he says on something that everybody knows is false, he says something that's false and everybody knows that he's saying is false. If it's b'meizid, he's chayiv malchus, and if it's b'shoigig, he's completely potter. Shvua sheker has 2 categories really. There's a shvua sheker in the past. He says, I ate something when he didn't eat it, or he says, I didn't eat something when he really did eat it. And then you have shvua sheker in the future. He says, I am going to eat something and he doesn't, or he says, I am not going to eat something and he does. So let's talk about Shvua Sha'avar in the second column. So if he says a lie, I didn't in the past, he gets malchus if he did it on purpose. B'shoigeg is machlokes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel whether he has to bring a carbon oile v'yared. It's a carbon that's on a scale depending how wealthy he is. A shvua in the future, well, depends. If it's a shvua that there's action taken, for instance, he says, I am not going to eat, and then he eats, eating is an action. So for that, he's chayiv malchus if he does it b'mezid, and if he does it b'shogeg, he's chayiv a carbon oliviyard. But if he says a shvua in the future that doesn't require action, he says, I will eat, and he doesn't eat, so not eating is not an action, so he is potter for malchus. And in terms of a carbon, there's a question Rashi says over here differently than he usually says. In one place he says that he's chayiv a carbon, in another place he's potter from a carbon. And then one other thing that our Gemara brings down is a shvua. He says a shvua sheker for today. He says that he's going to eat and he doesn't eat, so he's potter according to Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Either according to Rabbi Yochanan because it's lav shein b'maisa, and according to Rish Lakish, one chiddush here is because it's hasra suffix. We can never pin him down. There's no hasra specifically on his action because we don't know when he's going to do it, and you can't pin him down to the end of the day because then he could say, "I already forgot the hasra," and therefore he is potter. If somebody curses his friend with Hashem's name, he gets malchus. Why? Because it says in the pasuk Im lo yisishmar, in the end of the pasuk Liras Hashem, and then it says a very interesting lashon. It says V'hifla Hashem es makoisecha. What's this lashon V'hifla? It says the Gemara it's similar to the lashon by malchus, which V'hipiloi, you knock him down. So this tells us that you get malchus for cursing your friend with Shem Hashem. It says the Gemara it's not talking about. Of course, it's talking about cursing your friend and not just swearing in truth, because this is considered a lav shesh b'ei hazara. You swear for the truth. It says twice in the pasuk ubishmoiti shaveya. One is that if you're swearing for a mitzvah, that's allowed, and the other one is if you're swearing because your friend doesn't trust you, he says that you stole from him, you're also allowed to swear for that. But we cannot learn that from just the pasuk that says shvuas Hashem tiyeh ben shem, that the Torah is mechayiv to make a shvuah, because on that you could say perhaps you cause yourself to get in that situation. Yes, you're swearing in truth, but you still get malchus. Have a wonderful day.